Hey, it's Raj from UCL Careers here. Not knowing what you might want to do can be bewildering. Sometimes it can feel like we're surrounded by people who seem to know exactly what they want to do, to the point where you're wondering, how do they even know? Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to wait for careers inspiration to strike. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 things that I think can generate really good career ideas for you. First technique I want to share with you is to look at what people have done in your shoes, in your situation, before you. So I recommend using LinkedIn's UCL alumni filter. Find UCL on LinkedIn, look along the left-hand side, click on alumni, and it will generate this data of well over 168,000 people. Hit the right arrow, you can filter down by degree. If you scroll down, you can see real-life lived experiences of people. Now, I want you to go a step deeper than this. When you're looking through what people are doing and what they have done, I want you to pay close attention to how you're feeling. Is it filling you with joy, a sense of purpose? Is it potentially making you think, no, that's going to be incredibly boring, that would never suit me? All of these emotional responses are super useful in helping you identify what is right for you. Have a play, have an explore. I've seen this help so many people in generating career ideas. Okay, so technique number 2 is to use the network and the people around you. Often as individuals, we can't see ourselves objectively, and that's where trusted friends and family come in massively handy. I want you to ask them what they secretly think you would be good at and enjoy in terms of a career. And I've worded it in this way deliberately. The secret component means that they're going to give you novel answers they've not discussed with you before. Maybe it's just been rattling in the back of their mind, and it gives them an opportunity to share that insight with you. What they come back with might not move you into a state of, yeah, I really want to do that, but it can be really interesting to think why they said that. Now, I'd recommend asking at least 3 and preferably 5 people, because that way you get a broader sense of perspective, but you can potentially also start to see patterns in what they're saying, because that can be really significant. Tip number 3 is to ask yourself when you went the extra mile. When did you over-engineer a solution? When did you take more time on something that you needed? When did you go so far above and beyond? But crucially, in a way that made you feel energized as opposed to made you feel drained. Something that you were so excited about, you had to spend more and more time on it. Now, I encourage you to ask yourself this question because it can be really key in identifying motivation. Now, earlier in my life, I used to love racing bikes. And you might think, well, what's the career implication? All that means is that he likes racing and that he likes bikes. But there was more from it than that. After spending more and more time on it, especially around the coaching element of my teammate, one of the things I realized was I really love coaching people. Something that helped me align that particular motivation to my current role, which is as a careers counselor. Now, technique number 4 continues the theme of looking inward to discover career motivation and ideas. It's about writing this time. And I want you to take the time to write sentences that start with, I want my life to be, and I need my life to be. Now, I'm encouraging you to write this because often it's easier to think about what you want from life than it is to think about what you want from a career. But you'll find that the 2 things are virtually perfectly correlated anyway. I want you to use lots of adjectives, lots of descriptive words in teasing out exactly what you want to happen in your life/career. And what's great is that you can use these answers to cross-reference and to tease out attributes of jobs and roles that have been identified in steps 1 and 2, as well as coming up number 5, so you can get a sense of how good a fit they are in respect of what truly matters to you. Okay, so lastly, technique number 5 is to use questionnaires mindfully. Prospects Planner is a really good one to start with, and there are others that I'm going to link in the description box below. So Prospects Planner takes you through 4 sections of questions, and it asks you to rank yourself in a number of categories, with questions ranging from the extent to which you like to work with others, how you feel about solving problems, and many other things besides. After you've completed it, it generates a list of possible matched professional areas with percentages attached to each. Now, the mindful bit of doing these questionnaires relates to noticing your reactions. Noticing your reactions to the suggestions it generates. Do they excite you? Do they bore you? Do they intrigue you or to irritate you? And I'd encourage you to then ask yourself, what is it about the role that makes you feel that way? And that's the real value of these questionnaires. Now, as you can see, my top suggestion is as a clinical scientist, but I know I wouldn't like to work in that field. It's an instinctive response, and sitting with that feeling and reflecting on it makes me then realize that I think I'd feel a little bit too isolated in that role, and I'd feel maybe like it's got a bit too much focus on process rather than people. Okay, so there you have it. These are 5 practical ways that I've seen work time and time again in respect of generating career ideas that can work for you. Now, engaging with these can be fun, but it can also be scary, and I want to tell you that no emotional response is inappropriate, and to be gentle with yourself as you go through these techniques. Because often career thinking is bound up with our own sense of self. I mean, it's often the case that you're almost thinking, well, what do I want to be, as much as what do I want to do? Please also know that you don't have to do this by yourself. You can do this as part of a conversation, so you can book in for a careers guidance appointment. I recommend a short guidance appointment. Now, you can also leave a comment down below telling me what worked and what didn't. I'd really love to know. And you can also send your careers questions. These are careers questions that relate to absolutely anything to careers.marketing@ucl.ac.uk. Now, next week's video is going to focus on how to develop career ideas you already have. So you could almost do this in real time. You could go through the 5 techniques this week, you could develop some career ideas, and then next week I'm going to give you the tools to explore them in a practical way, to think about how to prototype, how to test them in order to develop a sense of whether they are right for you or not. Have fun exploring.